Well, ladies and gentlemen, Southwest Michigan has been relatively voiding of severe weather this spring and early summer, but that could change today. Good afternoon. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster here from the Wood TV live desk. Joining me, meteorologist Matt Kirkwood on this system. Matt, let's dive right in here and take a look at Storm Track Live. What do we have right now?
All right. Right off the bat, it's really difficult a lot of times to figure out just where and when convection, another word for thunderstorms, is going to develop and move in. Today is no different. So what we do is we look at various forecast models, and the ones we're looking at all have kind of different placement, different timing, but they all bring it into southwest lower Michigan sometime around mid-afternoon and thereafter, and we could even see some back building later on into the overnight. So you could distinctly see where the current storms are, showers and storms moving into the central part of Wisconsin. That one in the central part of Wisconsin west of Oshkosh, that may miss us to the north, but they could also roll to the southeast along a warm front. What I'm kind of really focused on is that one south of Madison, Wisconsin. And so it's from here on out, it's basically just watching radar trends of what these guys are doing. And so far there hasn't been a lot of severe weather upstream as of yet, but anywhere east of those showers and storms, we've been destabilizing with a lot of sunshine so far. So they will not weaken. They'll actually likely intensify as they move into west Michigan. So that's what we're watching. I say we just got off the phone with Chief Meteorologist Ellen Bacchus. She is going to be in shortly, and we are going to tackle this together. Actually, we should have three Mets. Sarah Flynn's going to join us later on this afternoon. She has a lot of severe weather experience. Her last job was out in Iowa. So we haven't had, you mentioned earlier, Luke, we haven't had a lot of severe weather this year. We've only had 47 reports throughout the entire state of Michigan. Of course, you heard about the F3 tornado. The F3 tornado up in Gaylord, but that was an exception to the rule. Here in southwest lower Michigan, we've essentially gone storm or severe weather free so far. Today will likely be a different story. For instance, we've had 47 reports in Michigan. On the other side of the lake in Wisconsin, they've had 130 reports. So we'll add on to that today throughout the Midwest.
Matt, we have some graphics here, too, to dive through. Let's start with that screenshot there, Storm Track Live, with the severe risk.
Okay, when I woke up this morning, I was kind of surprised watching Terry. We were still in the slight risk area, but the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, was probably doing the same thing we were doing, just watching the latest forecast models and radar trends, and they finally decided to upgrade us to a Category 3 enhanced risk for severe weather. You can see it goes from Muskegon, Grand Rapids, just north of Hastings, kind of splitting Hastings and Lansing area points to the south, and that's where we think the most likely area for severe weather will be, and that's going to be closer to the heat bubble, that gradient and most unstable air. You can see even north of there, we're still in slight risk, all the way up to Ludington, does include Newaygo, Fremont, over to the Greenville area. So all of our viewing areas included in a risk area. I do believe this is the first time this season we've been in a enhanced Category 3 risk. So this is basically the most substantial threat that we've had so far this year for severe weather.
And then moving now to the wind risk as well.
And all severe weather events have their own fingerprint, I say, and this one, which this is usually the primary threat here in West Michigan. It's straight line winds, and that's no different with this go around, although we could see anything, including hail and also an isolated tornado. But the wind threat is really the primary deal with this thunderstorm complex that will likely move in today. Where you see the red, that's a 30% chance of a severe thunderstorm wind gust of 58 miles an hour or greater within a 25-mile point. And that's how we kind of define that. Now, what you don't see on there, but if you headed over to our web story at woodtv.com and or the Storm Predictions website, it's a hashed area. That red area is actually hashed, which means we think that we could actually have 75-mile-an-hour wind gusts or greater within that area. So if you have, let's say, anything loose on the patio, on the deck, you want to secure it, and that would be a good idea. Or don't put out the trash cans too early because there's going to potential for strong winds will be there. And if you have baseball games or softball, any kind of league activities later on today, make sure you have a way to check the radar and receive any updates.
And now moving to those impacts as well.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the damaging winds, that's the primary impact with this event. Hail, tornado, it's there. Heavy rain is something we're also watching. I went medium just because not the entire viewing area will see the heavy rain, but we could, under some of the strongest storms, see very heavy rainfall rates. And there's the possibility, what we call training, where one thunderstorm will move out and another thunderstorm will move right over the same path, kind of like, rail cars on a railroad track. So that could create rainfall amounts, I would say, anywhere between 1 to maybe up to 3 inches, and on the higher end of the category. So bear that in mind.
All right, and then moving forward now to, again, another look at Storm Track Live, that satellite and radar. Yeah,
this is the setup. Pretty good storm system moving through the north central plains. There's kind of upper level waves that are rippling along that warm front. That's what's helping trigger the thunderstorms that are currently ongoing out there. And that warm front, that's a classic setup. You often see, especially this time of year, strong thunderstorm setup just north of the warm front, taking advantage of the upper level wind energy and so forth. And that should come together over southwest lower Michigan later on today. And that warm front is just one of a few trigger mechanisms for the thunderstorms. Eventually the warm front is going to move through and we are going to feel the heat.
And a couple more graphics here for you, ladies and gentlemen. This Futurecast here, Matt, what are we seeing?
Yeah, okay, this is the Barron model, and we look at a plethora of models, a whole bunch of them. But this one meshes the best with what the Storm Prediction Center is thinking, or what we're thinking. The strongest thunderstorms likely probably along I-96 and to the south. You can see kind of a core there right around the Kalamazoo area. There's no question just by looking at that would likely be severe. But again, that's a forecast model. We'll continue watching the radar trends. I've looked at other ones earlier today that has the stronger storms actually north of that. So that's just an idea of what we're thinking. And that's the 5 o'clock time frame.
And you mentioned it there just a moment ago. Some people wanting it, some people dreading it. That excessive heat that we're seeing so many places around the country right now.
Yeah, especially in the Midwest, Central Plains, South Central Plains. That is a massive heat advisory and heat warnings from St. Louis. See, there's actually a heat warning up around the Minneapolis area as well. That bubble heat is going to make its way into southwest lower Michigan. We currently do not have any heat advisories out there, but just reading the forecast discussion from the National Weather Service, more likely we will have one issue. What they're likely doing is just holding out because the main focus now is the threat of severe weather. They don't want to muddy things up. And just be aware, tomorrow afternoon in through Wednesday, we are going to be feeling some of the hottest temperatures we've had since last summer. We have a forecast of 94 degrees. That is for Wednesday, and I was just taking a look at the climate book, and the last time we actually hit 94 degrees was back in the summer of 2020 on July 7th. So that's some serious heat. Yeah. And with that humidity, we're likely going to have dew points up around 70 degrees, maybe even warmer. And so the combination of those two, the heat and humidity, it's going to feel like 100, probably 105 degrees peak heating on Tuesday and also on Wednesday.
Matt, as we wrap up here, I'm going to put Storm Track Live back up there. Tell us a little bit about 5 and 6 and kind of heading into those evening hours, what we'll be seeing on TV and online if need be as well.
Yeah, if you're looking at any of the sky cams right now, most of them are still revealing sunshine and a pretty nice summer day, but I can assure you by the time we hit the air at 5, 6 o'clock, we're going to be able to capture probably some very ominous looking clouds, I would imagine, at that time frame, and certainly be able to point out specific signatures on the radar, whether that's straight line winds or any kind of rotation, and where the heaviest rain is, and cloud to ground lightning, which is also can be deadly. We don't warn for it, but with any strong thunderstorms, you can also see a lot of lightning with that. So it's going to be interesting when we hit the air at 5 o'clock, and quite frankly, the National Weather Service will likely issue a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch prior to that, so we'll get you updated on that. And we're already talking about doing being on live on the web once that happens throughout the rest of the afternoon. So we will be there for you.
Matt, anything else you want to put out there right now?
After the two things I talked about, the severe weather and also the heat, once we get beyond Wednesday, cold front moves through and we have a stellar forecast to look forward to for the rest of the week.
Excellent.
Lots of sunshine. It's what we all wait for, in the gloomy time of the winter, is the weather that we're likely going to see later in the 8-day.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching here on Facebook, there's a link attached, takes you over to the weather tab on woodtv.com. All your weather news there from Storm Team 8. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster here from the Wood TV Live Desk. Matt, thank you.
My pleasure.
Folks, have a great afternoon and stick with us. We'll see you around.